What is going on? Can everybody hear me? Awesome. Awesome. First we're gonna start adding some wrenches up in here because you never know when bad people are gonna show up. and and Randy is gonna be moderator number one because that guy doesn't miss nothing. Randy, your job is to keep Farmer Man at bay. Knock him down. All right. Hey, thanks, man. You know, sometimes I go to work and I can't be wearing a hat with a big old beard. I have to, get all dressed up fancy. Awesome. Well, it's great to see you guys. I was kind of contemplating with what to do for the show tonight. And originally, I had told myself I was gonna do two different things. I was gonna talk about the best EDFs to get started with EDFs on. No, Photon's good, man. I'll let him stay in. You know, what's up, Phantom FPB? Oh, thanks, Shadow. What's going on, guys? I guess I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to jump on this trend of giving everybody a wrench. I got I got Randy in here with a wrench because I know that he takes care of business. He'll he'll jack people up. He will shut you down. Start talking mad shit in my channel. All right. So anyway, it's great to see you guys. Um, Sorry, man. I was like getting ready for the show at the last second. It's not like I dressed up fancy for you guys. I just got home like 20 minutes ago. So I had to like jump in and grab something to eat real quick and then grab all the stuff that I needed for the show and get ready and have all the links up on freaking another web page and get all this stuff going and man, it's just crazy. It's been crazy. So, what I'm going to do is drag some things around and so tonight, and this may bore the crap out of some of you guys, but I've had some requests on AS3X and shut your mouth, Josh. Freaking hate that guy. So I've had some requests on how to program AS3X. So I wanted to go over that tonight. Show you guys how to take an AR636 receiver out of the box or steal an AR636 receiver out of a plane. And talk about the different AR636 receivers and how to program them because that's what we do here, man. We teach you guys how to do the hard shit that nobody else wants to talk about. everybody's afraid, to jump on the AS3X bandwagon. And the funny part is that everybody buys Spektrum planes, or Spektrum. Everybody buys Horizon planes, right? Because they see these planes and they're like, oh man, I'm going to get the bind and fly because it's got that receiver in it. And that thing is awesome. You know, that's great. But here's the thing, right? You don't have to buy a plane from Horizon Hobby to be able to get that awesome gyro performance. Yeah, you know, Shadow, I can't help you with FR Sky, man. I can't teach you how to program AS3X for FR Sky. It's only available for Spektrum. They are easy. They are easy, Michael, and that's kind of what I wanted to go over tonight. Is to kind of release that stigma a little bit. Let everybody know, like, hey, buy whatever plane you want, and stick that Spektrum receiver in there, and get the performance just like you would get from a bind and fly plane that you'd buy straight from Horizon Hobby. So, I don't want to waste too much time. So the first thing I'm going to jump into, and I think the link should be in the description. Can someone? Oh, we're going to teach you how to program it with Safe too. We're getting crazy tonight, Randy. So can you guys take a look at the description of the video for me? And while you're looking at the description, go ahead and smash that like button. Take a look at the description for me and see if there are. Yes, so all the links are in there. For the Bluetooth programming cable, the USB programming cable, there you go, the software, and our safe model builder, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the web page here because I'm gonna show y'all some fancy pictures and all that stuff. Now that I'm pretty comfortable that at least the stream is going well. All right. And they should be Pilot Ryan links too, because I like to support the King Rat until I get my own affiliate links, and then fuck that guy, I'm gonna get my own money. All right. All right. So here is like the number one thing that you're gonna need to be able to do to be able to program any Spektrum device. I know that there's a Bluetooth module. There's another, cable that you can do where you can plug it into your phone or whatever, and that's cool. Did I? Uh-oh. There we go. I gotta get my picture back in here so y'all think that I'm still alive. When we have the cable, right, it lets us do everything with the receiver out of the box and not actually installed in a plane. Hey, Amy's here, y'all.
Hello.
She says hi.
I have to go, but I'll be back. Take Peyton, okay?
All right. So, yeah, the first thing that you gotta have this USB cable, right? Because the initial programming of an AR636 or any AS3X receiver is going to be done on the computer. All right. You can also get the Bluetooth. The Bluetooth is great for at the field. If you're going to do some quick changes to your setup, you can do this at the field. All right, right here we're looking at the AS3X web page, and you can click on the PC download link. That's going to get you the software. And the last thing that we'll look at is this is an RC Groups. There's a guy on RC Groups. His name is Flight Engineer, and or Flight ENGR, and he made the Safe Model Builder program, because typically you wouldn't be able to add safe to a non bind and fly plane, right? Or an airplane that doesn't have safe. But with the Safe Model Builder, we can do whatever we want, and I'm going to show you how to use it real quick. All right. Are y'all freaking super excited yet, or what? Are you jumping out of your pants? 5 minutes. Shit, what time is it, Josh? All right. So right here we've got the Spektrum programmer software pulled up. Now there's a lot of different things that we can do with the Spektrum programmer, including programming the DXE transmitter. I know that the DXE transmitter, it's like $69 or something like that. The thing is dirt cheap, and it comes with all of the Spektrum really cheap planes. But here's the thing, that uh, that transmitter is not that bad. It might look like a cheap piece of crap, and you really have no functionality. But if you're only going to use it with like one model ever, or you're going to take it to the field and you don't plan on like reprogramming it every time you switch from one model to another, so it's not the most versatile in the world, that thing is actually a 9-channel transmitter. It gets a lot of folks are like, oh, it's only a 6-channel transmitter. That's not true. The DXE is a 9-channel transmitter. It's limited in its functionality, but what we can do with it inside the Spektrum programmer software is pretty cool. So something to keep in mind. If you need like a cheap backup radio, don't frown too much at the DXE. That thing's not bad. I don't use it every day, but I've got one, and it does the job. It's good. But what we'll go ahead and do here is we're gonna take a look. If we look up here, we are gonna select this model, and all right, and what we're looking at here is the program that I built for my Avanti S from Freewing. So I have an Avanti that's got AS3X gyro, and it has safe. And we will kind of go over that here real quick, how you set all that up. Now, whenever you're setting up an AR636 or any AS3X transmitter, you end up having 3 flight modes, right? So you can have a flight mode with nothing, you can have a flight mode with no gyro, you can have a flight mode with gyro turned on, and you can have one with gyro and high gain. And with that safe model builder, we could have a flight mode with safe, whatever the case may be. So if we look over here, you can see like you've got flight mode 1, flight mode 2, flight mode 3, and it wants you to set up like expo and dual rate. I do all that in the transmitter, but you can do it in the receiver. So really the only thing that we have to worry about for the most part is the gain and the priority. And I want to go over what the difference is. Obviously, the rate is going to be your gain, right? So the gain on that particular channel. Now, if you look here, I've got roll, pitch, and yaw, and The roll, pitch, and yaw are going to be, obviously your aileron, your elevator, and your rudder. And those are the three axes that we're modifying. Now for my Avanti, I've got mode 3 set up as no gain, right? So gyro off. So I've got roll, pitch, yaw. You can see all three. The gain is set to 0 for all three axes. And then flight mode 2, flight mode 1. Flight mode 2 is my gyro on, so AS3X only. And flight mode 3 is my AS3X with safe, right? So it has auto leveling. Now, one of the things that I also want to look at here, we see absolute and relative. And what that means is that absolute, when we're, looking at the Spektrum programmer, absolute means that that gain is set and it's permanent, right? You can't change it once you put it in the receiver. You can't change it with the radio. You'd have to go in with a programmer like your phone. You can run the Spektrum AS3X programmer app on your phone, or you can change it here, but you can't do anything with it as far as with telemetry. Relative allows us to change that particular gain setting using the telemetry functions of a DX series Spektrum radio. So I think it can be done on like a DX to any of the Gen 6, any of the telemetry based transmitters. Up. So we got a lot of good people in here, guys, and I'm sorry, I've been kind of ignoring the chat, and you guys have probably been making fun of me the whole time, and that's awesome. um, all right, Michael has the question of explaining the flight modes. So basically, the flight modes is you know how when you get a bind and fly plane and you can set a safe select switch and you basically only got two functions. You've got like safe select is either on or it's off. Well, that is two of the flight modes, right? So the bind and fly receivers are not utilizing um, the full spectrum, if you will, of the capabilities of the receiver. It's only using two flight modes. Here, whenever we go and we modify those settings on our own, we can actually use multiple flight modes. All right, so and we can have up to three. So we can have, flight mode 1, flight mode 2, flight mode 3, and we can set those flight modes up on a 3-position switch, and that will allow us to do whatever we want, right? And when you get down here into the initial setup, that's where it'll ask you what you want the flight mode switch to respond to, right? And here, in this particular case, I've got the flight mode set up on aux2, right? So I would set my radio to transmit to aux2, and then we're good to go. Now, something I want you guys to kind of look at here, right? We've got unassigned, gear, aux2, 3, 4, 5. So the other thing that is very important to understand is that the AR636, while it only has 6 outputs, it actually has, what is that? It has like 9 or 10 channels that it can listen on, which is awesome. So I could set it up on aux3, aux4, aux5. I can set up other functionality in there. So if I wanted to do a panic button, I can have it listening on a panic button, which will automatically send it into auto level mode no matter which flight mode I'm in. So there's a lot of neat things that we can do here. All right, so let me catch up on the chat here real quick. So, and guys, just so you know, yeah, I'm gonna have this live stream where we're just gonna kind of blow through these settings and just talk about them real quick. But ultimately, I'm gonna make a playlist that has a step-by-step videos on how to do all of this on your own, and it's gonna be explained, clear, at least as clear as I can make it. And hopefully in a way that is easier to understand because the Spektrum guys are the engineers that designed it. I didn't design it, so I'm not going to try and get crazy. So, all right, all right. Jeff Toohey, we are having a great night. I'm having a great night. I don't know about you guys. Yeah, the lemon receivers. So like the lemon receivers, the Hobby Eagle receivers, probably with the exception of like the A3 Super 3, the Hobby Eagle receivers are really easy to use. Um, they've got the three gain pots, and like on the Super 3, you can, and I think on the mid level Hobby Eagle gyro, you can set up an input into the receiver. But who wants all that crap? And don't get me wrong, I've got a Hobby Eagle gyro in one of my airplanes, and it works fantastic. And I've got like the master gain set on the knob, but in flight, I adjust that master gain. It's changing all three axes. I can't set it up to go and change just the aileron axis. I can't set it to change just the elevator. I'm changing all three axes with a master gain switch, and that's right. So let me kind of explain to you guys what we're looking at here. And again, yeah, we've got these flight modes. Don't get too caught up in kind of the techno babble. Yes, it's got flight modes that we're gonna set. And what I want to show you is how we can make sense out of these little graphs over here that it shows on the right. And this is where AS3X, like when we fly an airplane that's equipped with an AS3X receiver, why does it feel different? And I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that, but at least to me, like when I'm flying an airplane with a Hobby Eagle gyro or an airplane with, the Admiral gyro or an airplane with a Lemon gyro, they they feel like I have to fight the gyro a little bit. Yeah, I know, right? It's very technical. And with the bind and fly planes, I have the ability to set what's called a stick priority, right? And what that stick priority is, and it's got something to do with these little graphs that we see over here to the right. That stick priority makes it where when the sticks are centered, whatever gain I have set, it is sending 100% of that gain to the control surface. And as I move the stick from the center position, it slowly drops the amount of gain that is being input all the way down to zero, right? My inner geek understands. Awesome, Shadow. Right? So if we look at kind of the peaks of this graph and how we have the gains and stick positions and all that stuff set up, we can start to get kind of an idea of what is happening. So if I set the stick priority, down to 100, for example, don't pay too much attention to the number. All right. Uh, I don't want you guys to get fixated on the number. I want you guys to look at the graph itself where I've got this line. So let's pretend like this line in the center, that is my centered stick position. So, you know, for example, like on my aileron, and I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing here in the little tiny window. As I take that stick and move it to the center, what's going to happen is if we were to see that stick position move, the line that goes from the top down to the bottom is how much effective gyro is being applied with the stick in that position, right? So what I can do is I can narrow that down to say 170%, which is normally where I put them. So I move that stick about 20% from its center position, and now my gyro has zero gain for that particular axis. So if I am, going into a turn or something, so the only time that the gyro in an AS3X plane is really having an effect on the flight characteristics is when you are in straight and level flight, right? As you pull back, you pull back on the stick, your once you get past, say, 20% of that stick movement, you're at 0% gain for that particular axis. And it will continue, to stabilize the other axis. Or if I roll to the right. Now, if I'm in a bank and I'm rolling to the right and I'm pulling back, to get a nice, bank action and be able to maintain the level of the aircraft, you're not really using any gain on the gyro at all, which is why the AS3 or the AS3X receivers have such a natural feel to them, is because of stick priority and the way that the AS3X receiver is responding to the stick movements and gradually releasing the amount of gain on that particular channel the further away from the center you move the stick. It's a really awesome conceptual process, and I think that everybody would get everybody that adopts AS3X can get the kind of results that you're going to get out of a bind and fly plane by simply just grasping that concept alone. That once you figure out like what the graphs mean and all that stuff, like I move this around, like, oh, this means that like I'm at 100% gain no matter what I do. So once you figure out like those kinds of like intricate concepts, it kind of breaks down all the barriers of understanding of how AS3X does what it does, why it feels so much different, at least in my opinion. Um, it, Dude, listen, anybody that wants to, to talk to me about this stuff, hit me up on Facebook. I'm pretty easy to find. I'll be putting videos up on the RC Pilots Lounge. I'm the member of a bunch of RC groups. A lot of you guys already. Sorry, my my microphone's still working. I just paused for a second to like look at the Wayne. Uh, anyway, like I was saying, get in touch with me on Facebook. Shoot me a message on Facebook. Become my friend on Facebook, and I will gladly give you guys my phone number in a Facebook messenger text or whatever. I'm not going to put it here in the channel because no, I'm just not doing that. So Randy, check this out. Here's what I want everybody to really take out of this, right? Is you can go and buy I bind and safe select. I set my dual rates in Expo, low, medium, high. Assign a safe select switch. Am I doing something wrong? No, Michael, you are not. And the what's up, Fred Barron? See, I feel like I want to give Fred Barron like my PayPal thing because he's such a friend to every channel, and you can't support me right now. But look, Fred Barron, I appreciate what you do for all the other channels. I think it's awesome. All the Farleys, the whole Farley family, both of you that I've seen. Josh Weaver, Shadow Ops, Wreckham Roy's, you know, the whole crew is here, and and I love it. I love that you guys come to these shows. It warms my heart. It warms my heart. So, Michael, you are not doing anything wrong. Um, all right, Shadow. What I'll do is I will. If any of you guys do have Facebook, shoot me a message in Messenger, and I will put my. I will give you guys my email address and phone number, and if someone wants to forward that over to Wayne, if anybody knows how to get in touch with Wayne to give him my phone number, I will shoot my phone number to somebody in a message, and we'll make it happen. Do it, Michael Rajka. you you put it in the chat, and you're on timeout for life. All right. So yeah, and like I was saying earlier, Michael, the ones that you get stock on a bind and fly plane, they only have two of the three flight modes. They only have two of the three flight modes set up. They don't use all three. The only way to unlock all three. Now, here's an example of a plane that does have all three flight modes set up. Not the Apprentice, because the Apprentice does not use an AR-636 receiver, but the Mini Apprentice does use an AR-636 receiver. And if you've ever flown a Mini Apprentice, you will know that it has a beginner mode, an intermediate mode, and an expert mode, or advanced mode, or whatever they call it. And they're using all three flight modes. All right. Hold on a second. Let me see. Let me see if somebody is sending me messages on the Facebook. Anyway, don't call me right now, man. I'm in the middle of a show. But when you get my number, you can call me anytime. Or shoot me a text message. Whatever the case may be. So, Michael, does that make sense? That like we don't necessarily have all three flight modes configured for every airplane for an AR-636. So, in your bind and fly model, in safe select models where you have to bind it in a certain fashion, and then you plug it in, you connect your battery, you unplug it, and then you bind your radio. It binds it in safe select. Okay, so and then I have to like flip a switch 5 times, and that is what tells the receiver which channel I'm going to be transmitting my flight mode as my flight mode channel, right? And then I have the three positions, and one of them is going to turn safe on, and one of them is going to turn safe off, right? So, yeah. And if that's all you want is safe on or off, here's the other thing, is when safe is turned off on your safe select model, AS3X is on. So, here's the thing. When I have three flight modes, and if you look right here, I've got like the pitch, roll, yaw. And here, like mode 2, one of them is sorry, people are blowing my phone up right now. Turds. So when you're in the programming software, flight mode 3, and this is just based on how I have the switch set up for my transmitter. Flight mode 3 is gyro off, no gain at all, across all three axes. So what you see up here at the top, if you look at the top up here, of the window, you'll see roll, pitch, yaw. So that's your three axis. That's your aileron. That's your elevator. That's your rudder. So for all three axes, I've got flight mode 3 turned to 0. So I have a flight mode that will turn the gyro completely off. All right, and then flight mode 2 is my flight mode that turns on the gyro. So that is AS3X on. And then flight mode 3 is my basically my safe select. It's my safe mode, right? So when I go to flight mode 3, that turns on all of my auto leveling and all that fun stuff. Now, what you don't normally get with a bind and fly model is you don't get a panic button. I am 100% with you, George Watts. A lot of people like to have that comfort, though. And to me, I do this more for the panic button than I do for having a mode that I can fly with self-leveling. I don't necessarily like self-leveling, but what I do like is being able to set up that shoulder button on my receiver and just being able to tap that button and the airplane go right back to straight and level flight. That's awesome. Just boop, done. And you're back in business. It's great for when you lose orientation of an airplane. And when we're talking $500, $600, $700, you take a free wing, even this Avanti. On the Avanti, yeah, that's a $330 airplane, so the airframe is relatively cheap. But then we throw, a receiver in there, and we throw a $100 battery in there, and now we're looking at, a $500 airplane. If my $500 airplane, if I lose orientation on that guy, and I press the button, it's back safe and level, and I can regain orientation, take over the controls, and be back in business. Hold on. Oh, wait. Wait, are we going to get a... So, Josh, are we tag teaming this? Is that what you're suggesting? Like you want to get Johnny on the spotted? All right. So before we do that, so that's the gain in priority. Does anybody have a question on like how that stick priority works? Because we look at the priority, you see the graph. That stick priority is really what makes these Spektrum receivers like the AS3X gyros, in my opinion, function so much better than they normally do. Than other gyros. Good God. So it's not just you blowing my phone up, Josh. It's freaking everybody, man. My whole family is like texting me on Facebook right now, and I know they're not in here. No, that's awesome, Godiak, and everybody, everybody likes different things, and that's the awesome part of the hobby. We can all do whatever we want. So, when you have folks out there that are using, FR Sky radios, man, I'll tell you, for the money, that is the best bang for your buck for the number of channels that you get. Like, FR Sky is the deal. But I just don't like a few of their business practices, especially when it comes to how they handled the whole Jumper T16 scenario. They were kind of big fucking titty babies over that. And I just didn't appreciate that. So I will have a very difficult time giving my money to FR Sky um, anytime in the near future. They would need to um, they would need to redeem themselves of that garbage. You know, everything that they tried to be coming into the transmitter game, this open source concept, and you can put a multi protocol module and you can use this transmitter with everything. And now they're going back, they're becoming Spektrum. Those dickheads are trying to be just like Spektrum or just like Futaba. Like, oh, we don't want you using our protocol, so we're going to set up a whole new proprietary FR Sky only protocol that only our transmitters and only our receivers can use, just because they don't like what Jumper was doing. When Jumper was just using the same OpenTX software that they were. What a bunch of babies. Get over it, freaking FR Sky. Turds. Yeah, I know, Shadow. All right. So, I want to see if we can get into some of this other stuff because I think that it might be cooler for you guys to see. It will make more sense if we're looking at a different program. So, here we have like aircraft type, surface setups, and and I know that this is going to sound odd, right? But when you're dealing with safe, there's only two different wing types that safe works with, but we can go and do other things. So when you ask me like the difference, I know Fred Barron. I go on a little bit of a rant when you know, I would love to fly FR Sky equipment. I really would. I like FR Sky. I just don't like shady business practices. And I know that all companies do shady business practices, but when you make it like this public forum and you start telling your vendors, like, if you sell their stuff, you can't sell ours anymore. Like, what a bunch of big titty baby shit. Man, I hate them. Fursky, Free Sky, whatever. I, I do like their radios. I really do. And maybe someday I'll try one when they are less punk like. So when we get into aircraft type, surface setup, port assignments, etc., um, this is where there's a huge difference between, say, your Lemon RX, your Orange gyros, your Admiral gyros, your Hobby Eagle gyros. I think the Aura gyros can do what I'm about to tell you. The AR636 can be oriented any way you want, right? I know unlike the Hobby Eagle gyros, now some of them, you can put on the side, you can put upside down, but it has to be facing in a certain direction. There's a sticker right on it with an arrow pointing, and you have to point the arrow forward. So you can stick it on the side, you can stick it on the bottom, you can put it upside down, but that arrow has to be facing forward with the wires going backwards, right? And you cannot set it up any other way. With the AR636, you can put that thing upside down, sideways, backwards, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you could turn it inside out, you could orient it that way too. And that's why it's so important. One of the things that people don't really grasp when they're setting up an AR636, and I think that someone else mentioned this earlier, is sorry. When I put out the series on all this stuff, I think that it will make more sense. And the series, the videos will be much smaller. Um, it won't be like trying to explain all of this stuff. It'll be broken down into small, easy to digest modules of, okay, here's how to do this. And I think Spektrum's actually got like a 12-step process on how to do all this, but it's very difficult to understand because they're not explaining it very well. They're explaining it in their own engineering speak, which they understand because they work for Spektrum, but it doesn't mean that the layman understands it. All right, so one of the things to keep in mind though is with an AR636 receiver, in almost no circumstance ever in the history of ever do you ever want to reverse any of the three axes that are controlled by the gyro, right? So your aileron, your elevator, or your rudder. If any of those three channels, if you have to reverse them in your radio, you are probably about to crash your plane, and here is why. So when your airplane is flying, and let's go back to when you are flying your plane, and I don't, of course, I don't have like a little plane. Oh, I do have a little plane. It's not that little, but the Bigfoot will do. My, the little Bigfoot. Little Bigfoot. All right. So say we're flying little Bigfoot and everything's working good. And this is right, even though it might look left to you guys. I'm tilting it to the right, and I'm tilting it to the left. So normally, when the gyro is on, if I tilt the wing to the right, this aileron would normally go up. Or actually, it would go down. It would move in the same direction as the control surface. So the wing comes down, the aileron moves down to try to bump it back up, right? Until it becomes level, and then it would level out. Now, the problem with setting the gyro up backwards or reversing the control surfaces without testing the gyro direction is that if the thing moves to the left or moves to the right, and that thing moves up instead of down, now it's just over exaggerating the problem. And the next thing you know, you got your plane flipped upside down and it's somersaulting across the runway, right? How many times have you guys seen somebody that are trying to set up a gyro? They get it up in the air, they catch a little pocket of wind, and the next thing you know, the thing is just spiraling out of control and it's a mud dart. Right? And that's typically because they either have their gyro oriented in the wrong direction and the control surfaces are not correcting in the right direction. So they'll have the gyro off and then they'll turn the gyro on and they'll hit a little wind pocket and then boom. It's terrible. Hangar 51. What's going on, guys? Yeah. See, that's kind of the problem, and I know that Kenny's going to have a lot of favorable opinions. You know, that's the problem that I think that a lot of people have with AR636 receivers. When you buy them, I've seen plenty of people at my field that they will buy these things, because they know that that's what kind of receiver comes in a bind and fly plane. They'll stick it in their aircraft. They'll change all the control surfaces. They'll set up AS3X on like their phone or whatever without really understanding what they're doing. And next thing you know, they take off and whoa, the plane just flips upside down and goes nose first into the dirt because of, the gyro corrections not being appropriate. So one of the things that AR636 is like, you have to change everything in the receiver. Whether that's the orientation of the receiver, tell it which way it's facing in the airplane. Is it upside down? Is it sideways? Is it, is it facing wires back? Is it facing wires forward? Is it on the left side of the fuselage, right side of the fuselage, upside down? Label up, label down. You can even have them mounted sideways in the airplane, depending on the software that you're using. Right, Josh? I mean, that's when you get into to use reverse servos on some of their planes, so you use their. I don't think that's true, Michael. Um, uh, I have no idea why Horizon uses reverse servos. Uh, I think it's because of the way that the that they mold the wings. Um, they mold them in a way where they weren't thinking about it. Like, oh, if we mount them this way and then we plug them all in, well, crap, that was a mistake. We should have molded it the other way. Well, let's just use reverse servos and no one will be the wiser. I think that's why they have reverse servos in a lot of planes, is because they're big dummies. And sometimes they don't think when they're when they're building their molds of what a normal servo should work like, and it seems like a simple oversight, but in the world of engineering and CAD drawings and all that stuff that they're using to create these molds, that's absolutely something that I could see them doing. And the price of the mold, like once you get it a certain way, you don't want to go back and redo that mold for a wing just because you screwed up on the orientation of the servo. So just throw a reverse servo in it. Problem solved, right? Easy fix. Rob Henderson, how you doing? How you doing? Michael Roska, there's a lot of gyros out there that work great, other than the AR636. Um, you've got your Lemon RX receivers. You've got the Admiral, which is basically a lemon in disguise. You've got your Hobby Eagle gyros. You've got your Aura gyros, which are mega expensive and they're beautiful, but it adds a lot of bulk to the plane. The thing that I like, uh, the thing that I like about the AR636 in particular is its compact size and everything that it can do in that compact size. So for something that's about half the size of the Admiral receiver, their 6-channel receiver with the 3-axis gyro, you've got so much more functionality. That thing is great, but it's kind of an on-off type of deal. Um, with the AR636, you can set it up to have tailerons, elevons, flapperons. I mean, you can do a lot more with an AR636 than you can with uh, with a lot of the other gyros that are on the market. And especially when you start getting up into like the power safe Spektrum receivers with an AR636, like the A3000 gyro module that plugs into it, you've got 12 or 20 channels, um, that can all be assigned to a gyro axis within that receiver. Badass. I mean, there are, but you get into some pretty serious money there too. So, oh, high tech servos, high tech servos all about. See you, Shadow Ops. Enjoy that ice cream, man. So one of the other things that I want to show you guys before, before we just get into like straight BS mode, because I know that's where everybody really wants to be. I want to show you guys this safe model builder because this is really what I like about the AR636. This kind of opens up a lot more stuff. So I can take like a file that I build for an AR636, because with the Spektrum software, I can't program safe into it, right? I can only program the AS3X portion. I can only program the gyro. With the safe model builder that is linked in the description of the video, I can take this receiver and I can do anything with it now. So I can change the orientation to whatever I want, so I can, you can do a lot with it. So right now, I've got label up, antenna forward, or pins towards tail, pins towards nose, label towards sky. You can change the orientation of the receiver to anything you want. If you're using the software from Spektrum, it doesn't allow you to do that, and it does work, man. This thing is awesome, and this is a free application that's available from a guy on RC Groups. Again, the link's in the description. Go check it out. You can set up the switches. You can set it up to behave like a safe select model. So allow safe functionality to be turned on or off through the binding process. I can change those flight modes, and here's where we can get in and we can start setting up those safe features. So I can set up a panic button. I can set up, self-leveling. I can set up bank angle limits. I can set up throttle to elevator mixes. I can do a lot of stuff with this. And then if I save this profile, I can load it back up in my Spektrum software, push it into my AR636, and I have just enabled safe for a model that didn't normally have safe. So like I said, what we're looking at right now are the settings that I have in my Avanti. And I know, Michael Rajka, I told you that we were gonna put my Avanti model. I'm gonna put it on Google Drive, and we're gonna share it with the whole world, and it's gonna be awesome. All right, and here we can set up panic mode. What channel is the receiver listening for to throw the receiver into panic mode and self level the plane. You can set up how much movement when you're in panic mode, how much movement you can get on any of the axis before it will, roll back straight. The throttle to elevator mix. So, with safe enabled, you can set up a throttle to elevator mix. So as you advance the throttle, the elevator will come up. It will go into a climb. So you'll get some up elevator that will, pitch the nose up. And you can change whether that's linear or if it all comes in at once. It's an awesome program. And again, I'm going to have a whole different set of, like a series of videos that shows you guys how to do this. For now, though, we're going to go back to full screen because I don't think that trying to do this on a live stream was the greatest idea in the world. But there is a ton that you can do with AR636s, and that was kind of the point. That, a lot of folks will spend $15-20 on a receiver, $20-30 on a gyro that doesn't have half the functionality. and it just doesn't feel right, and it's a pain in the butt. And every time, that's the other thing with the AR 636. If you've got like a DX9, um, you can take a DX9 or an IX12, and we can set up. Let me go ahead and fire this thing up. Hold on, I'm gonna do something. I'm not gonna order a pizza with my IX12, but I think you guys might like what I'm gonna do here. So, I know Wes like orders hookers and uh, and food and Ubers and things like that. The King Rat Pilot Ryan, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Guys, listen, I don't know how many folks are in here, but it looks like a pretty good crowd. I'd really appreciate it if you guys would jump over, hit the like button. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, it'd mean a ton. I think we're getting real close to 100 subscribers. I know that I'm young in my YouTube days, but I've got a lot of really great content cooking up, and I hope it only gets better from here, guys. I'm super pumped to be able to do this, and it's exciting for me because I love to help the community. It's why I became, an instructor for RC pilots. I love helping people. I want I want to be able to help anyone and everyone. So, for guys that have my phone number, great, give me a call anytime. I think only one person in here actually knows my phone number, and you guys would probably be surprised to know who that is, but only one person in here knows what my phone number is, and I know that that person's not going to give it away. But if you see me on Facebook, shoot me a message on Facebook. I'll give you my phone number. You can call me anytime you want if you want to talk more one on one about this stuff, and set up like a team viewer session or something like that. Um, we are going to do something that is mega, mega cool. And you guys just have to take my word for it that what I'm doing is mega, mega cool. Don't call Amy. She doesn't. Don't do that. Jackson! You can, Ryan, and yeah. If you see me on Instagram, I guess you can shoot me a DM in Instagram, and I'll reply back to you. I'm on Instagram is at the RC Air Marshal, and you can find me on Twitter at the RC Air Marsha. No, it's one L and a number one. But yeah, on Fridays you can definitely find me probably in a Zoom chat with a bunch of idiots, and we're gonna be drinking a lot of beer and getting silly. All right, super coolness is coming. Okay, I got to do that. That. Where did my OBS go? Awesome. All right, all right. We are good. We're about to have the cool stuff. Y'all ready for this? Boom! Okay. So, what we're looking at is the screen of my crazy iX12. Dude, it's an iX12. I was making sweet love to it. So, Jeff, I'd say once you get used to the idea of programming an AR636, once you're familiar with the process, and I'll tell you, for most folks, you're never going to truly get familiar with the process because of, most people don't have that many planes. So, all right. Yeah, most people just don't have that many planes. Um, okay, so what I'm gonna do? Did I just move shit around? Ah, bastard. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you some of the coolest stuff regarding like the interaction between an AR636 receiver and your radio, right? So in model setup, we can go to the telemetry and we can set up the different types of telemetries that we're looking at. So with like an IX12, DX9, whatever, I can choose AS3X as one of my telemetry types, right? So we've already got AS3X showing here. We've got it displayed, so we can go back to model setup. And when I go into model adjust now, and I look at AS3X, this will tell me through the telemetry of the radio what all of my settings are, which is really cool. So right now I can see that my rates, headings, actual, all that stuff is showing 0 because the plane isn't hooked up. But I want to go ahead and hook up the plane, which is hiding here in the background. All right, and now that the plane is fired up, we can see what everything is looking like, right? So we can see that, that my heading gain is 18%, 50% for roll, 65% for pitch, and right now, here's something else that I want you guys to be able to check out. And, so right now I am moving the stick to the right. What I want you to look at is see over there on actual gain, right? Because right now I'm in the AS3X mode, right? So if we go to like safe mode or whatever, so look at what the radio is showing. Like the rate is 50%, which means that I have 50% gain set on my aileron axis. As I move the aileron stick further from the center, look at what actual gain is doing. So right now I'm at 0% because there's no gain getting applied. So this is where you can really see it happening, right? I can see through the telemetry that my gain is changing. So if I hit the up elevator, I can see my gain changing. I change my yaw settings. So right now I'm exercising the rudder stick. And as I move further away from center, the actual gain goes to 0. So there you can actually see that trim priority changing the way I was telling you. Now the other thing that we can do is down here towards the bottom where we have, like, say, switch B, I can set up a switch and I can set up a trimmer. So, if I have any of these set up on relative gain, which right now I don't believe any of them are, they're all set to absolute, but if I had any of them set up to relative gain, I could go in here and I could have my input. So I can either tell it that I want my left trimmer or my right trimmer, which are going to be, kind of on the eyebrows next to the long switches of the radio. I can tell it which trimmer that I want to use. I can tell it which channel to send it on. So whatever channel the receiver is receiving flight mode signals from. So in our case, aux2. And also the switch that my flight modes are on. So in my case, on my IX12, it's switch B. So that's how I change my AS3X flight modes. I can adjust my gains in flight. There's a lot of really cool shit you can do with this receiver, guys. And I hope that you guys will check it out at some point. Is it hard? Yes, but all things that are worth it, you got to risk it to get the biscuit. That's what I'll say. Give it a shot. All right. So what'd you guys think of my my IX12 cam? Was that cool? All right. And again, smart batteries for the win, guys. Get them because they're awesome. Sorry, I look like a big Horizon Hobby shill here. And hopefully you guys were able to see. Unfortunately, I didn't have it where where I could have. Well, let me turn off all this stuff on the computer. Getting the IX12 screen on the computer is no easy feat. It requires a lot of, tricks of the trade of IT-ness. Awesome. Yep. So hopefully that let you guys see. And Pilot Ryan, if you're still in here, check the description out for the video, because I put some special love in there for you. There's some special Pilot Ryan love in the description of this live stream right now. So my local area just had a brownout. No shit. So now that you guys have kind of seen that, you've seen how, what the kind of the special sauce of AS3X, what makes AS3X different than other gyros, other than it being an absolute pain in the ass to program. I think it's freaking badass what AS3X can do, and it's once you kind of get your mind around how to program it with the PC, you can get it done in like 10 minutes. Jump in there, make all the settings that you want to set, and then fine tune it with your phone. If you've got a DX9 or better, you can set up the trim to be able to adjust that stuff on the fly. So if you see, you know, your airplane start to oscillate, you can turn the gain down a little bit until the oscillation stops. Mitchell Farley, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you coming into the chat. So what we're an hour in, and I think I've covered all of the good stuff that I want to cover with AS3X. Next week on the show, um, uh, next week there may be no show. So this Friday I'm closing on a new house, guys, and I'm super excited about it. And I don't think I'm going to be able to do a live show on Monday. I don't even know if I'm going to have internet in my new house on Monday. But if I do, there will be a show. And I don't think I'm going to work on Tuesday. Thanks, George. Uh, I don't think I'm going to work on Tuesday. So if I do get a live show going on Monday, um, so I can't do live streaming from my phone because I need 900 and some odd more subscribers before I can live stream from my phone. So you guys will just see wherever my computer happens to be. And we're going to set up a proper, RC Air Marshal studio in the new house. That'll be cool. Yeah, do please jump over and smash the like button on the video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. We're building slowly but surely. I've been at this. Um, oh, Josh, Josh, you had me at back door, baby. Oh, that's funny. All right. So where did I'm like going way up. So all you folks that have other channels and shows, we'll get some wrench action going for Jeff's Custom RC. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about, George Watts. Hangar 51. Where did Hangar 51 go? Awesome. Hangar 51 is cooking. Awesome. So, see you, Wayne. See you, Wayne. Now, if we do a show next week, it's more going to be just talking about the new house and probably drinking beer and just being just general shenanigans. No particular topic. But the next one where I'm actually able to sit down and, at that time I should be able to get like a proper kind of air marshal studio happening. Not really a studio, but like a proper table with some lights and maybe a sign behind me or something cool, something better than what we have now. I want to have a show, where we talk about the best beginner EDFs, and then shows where we talk about whatever you guys want. It'll be awesome. Because ultimately, this whole thing, I don't do this for me. Uh, I'm doing it to help the community as much as I can. Yeah. So, whatever it is that you guys want to see, Michael Rajka. That's awesome. A makeup artist. I do need a makeup artist. Um, yep. So I have to talk to Josh about the uh, about how to stream from my phone. If I can pull that off, that'll be pretty cool. And and Mike, absolutely. If we can stream from the phone, we'll walk you around the house and get a tour. And the show next week will be pretty short and sweet. Um, but to let you guys have a little, well, can we do? If we do a Zoom from the phone, can I stream it over um, over a YouTube live stream from the phone? I'm not sure if I can do that. I'm all right with the FBI, Mike. I'll be all right. That'd be cool, Josh. Um, so yeah, we can figure something out for next week for sure. Because I don't necessarily want to miss a night. Um, but if I can't make it, I can't make it. It is what it is. Or maybe I'll try to do something like tether my phone into a computer, steal the neighbor's internet. Do some more shady IT things, and we'll make something happen. Um, so yeah, the how-to videos that reminds me of more things that are upcoming. That more things that are up and coming. So I am in the middle right now of editing a. I am in the middle of editing a video on how to swap out the cheap, crappy landing gear of an E-flite Viper and put some sweet Oleo suspension struts from a 70mm FMS Avanti into the E-flite Viper. So you guys will see that coming up here in the next day. Hopefully, I'll get that. I'll get that done tonight because I'm also um, learning new editing software. So I downloaded the Davinci Resolve software, which for me, because I can't afford, I don't have super chats yet. When I have super chats, I will probably use Adobe Premiere all day. But for now, I don't have it, and I think that out of the free options, DaVinci Resolve is pretty badass in what I have toyed around with it so far. Um, so I'd love to see some opinions in the chat. I know, I always ask about this kind of weird stuff, but you know, since we're done talking about RC, now we can talk about whatever the heck we want. And I guess I'll take Ryan's advice at some point. Right now with 100 subscribers or 97 or however many I've got at this particular moment in time. So, oh, and by the way, guys, I'll say it again. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, never miss an episode. If you are subscribed, thank you so much for being here. It's been a month since I started dedicating more time, to making YouTube content. And in that month, I've already got 100 subscribers, and I'm thrilled. I am thrilled to have 100 subscribers. That is awesome. And I feel like I'm getting them, the organic way, the right way. And that makes me feel good inside, that the content is what's bringing the viewers. Um, and, and that's good. So thank you all. I know that it's a pretty tight knit team of folks that we have here that we always see tuning into the chats. and showing up for the boozers and showing up. In fact, let's do a roll call of all of the live streams because I think we have pretty much every day of the week covered now, man. Um, who do we got on Monday? We have Air Marshal Monday, which is awesome. Um, on Tuesday, we got Bledsoe with his trains. Sometimes we have Kenny on Tuesdays. Um, what do we got? Wednesday, we got Weaver. We got Josh leading straight into the GB Linden show on Wednesday. On Thursday, we got Kenny again, and that's usually the marathon run for Kenny. Kenny will stay and talk to you about anything RC. That guy is like the freaking the godfather of RC. Seriously, yeah. I don't think that Kenny actually stops his stream. Thank you, Wayne Lee. Um, I don't think Kenny stops his stream. So now we've got Kenny on Thursdays. On Fridays, it goes right back to my man Dave's RC. If Dave's RC ever sees these videos, thank you so much, Dave, for this Bigfoot. I am still just thrilled to the moon and back with this Bigfoot. It is a great little plane. Uh, and then on Saturday, of course, we have the King Rat, Pilot Ryan. And on Sunday, we've got the Boozers, man. We have got something for every day of the week, and I think it's a great time for the hobby. I think it's a great time for the social media presence of the hobby. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome. So yeah, Jeff, man, and you know that Dave makes good. Dave makes good, and I want to say, I'm not gonna make any promises, guys, but and let's just say like the next time we get together, I'm gonna do something special. I have no idea what it's gonna be, but it's gonna be something special because now we're sitting at 100. And now's the time to jump in and get on this something special because I'm not going to do anything else until we get to 500. Thank you so much, George Watts. It's so cool to do. I love doing it. He was. Jeff Custom RC, number 6. No, if I do anything, I'm going to do it very similar to the way that the Boozers did theirs when they did their 2,000 subscriber thing. So we might do something special for... Thank you. Thank you. I definitely will. Wayne. So, and we're not going to have to do that much, Jeff. I may... You know what? I know what I'm going to do for you guys. And we're probably already sitting at 100 subscribers, but I'm not going to do it now because I want to give people an opportunity to get in and get into the show next week. I want to do a giveaway of an AR-636 programmed by me for the airplane of your choice. What do y'all think about that? Yep. I will program an AR-636 receiver for the airplane of your choice and send it to the winner. I think that'd be awesome. So we will probably do that on the next show for the 100 subscriber breakthrough moment. That way it doesn't cost me a ton of money. I'll just go down to Hobbytown and get one. Ryan, you just needed a prop balancer for that wheel, man. I'd have let you borrow mine. Uh-oh. That is a big fat negative there, Josh Weaver. Negative Ghost Rider. All right, so that's what we're doing, and I will advertise a little bit on that one. If I can't do it next Monday, I will probably have to wait until the Monday after that. So even though we're probably sitting at 100 subscribers now, because I had 97 coming into the night. Let me see where I'm at right now. And I can't really buy anything until I close on the house because all my wife has told me that I'm banned from buying things until we close. So I have to wait until at least Friday to buy anything. Dude, my phone is slower than slow. Connect to the internets. I am connected to the internets. Yes, exactly, Wayne. My accounts. George Watts, I'll just throw another $100,000 on top of the price of the house and I'll get everything at Motion RC. Yes, right now my asses are frozen and I really don't want to do anything. Bledsoe, that is not right. Bledsoe, that's not correct. It's not an IX20. So guys, we're definitely gonna be doing. Dude, you guys are terrible. All of you. All you people are terrible. It's the word on the streets. And I'm street smart. Yes. So Wayne, you are correct. Right now my accounts are frozen. I could use them, but that'd be stupid. So we're waiting until Friday to do anything. And then we're not getting an IX20. I am not spending $1,400 to give away as a 100 subscriber prize. You guys have lost your minds. We are going to do an AR636 receiver programmed by me for the airplane of your choosing. So let me know. You know, well, it would be programmed by me for the most part for the airplane of your choosing. I will have to tell you guys how to set the gains on your own, but for the most part, it will be programmed for the airplane of your choosing. So it'd be really awesome if you guys, like, if somebody bought, like, a plug and play airplane, because, like, say the guy that wins the AR636 buys a plug and play airplane and says, hey man, I've got this plug and play airplane and it doesn't. Yeah, Josh Weaver. That's what I'm going to do. Jeff Toohey, I can do that too. You know, however you guys want to do it. Because, you know, all I can do is. All I can do is show you guys. I can only get you part of the way there. So once you get it, yeah, man, we can set it up on an AL37. We could set it up on an SU30, but that's already got bind and fly. If you get the bind and fly now, if you guys got the plug and play version of any Horizon plane, I can absolutely, set it up for you guys to run just like a bind and fly at that point. If you want like absolute safe, we can do that. We can do beginner mode and advanced modes, and we can do whatever you want. So once, see, here's how it's gonna work. I'm only gonna have the contest is only gonna be open to people that live in the United States. Yes. So for my international guys, that's right. I only work for beer. I don't even like popcorn. I don't like poop corn. That stuff is terrible, and it leaves those little shell things. Have you guys ever eaten popcorn and the little husks of the individual pieces of corn will like go up in between your gums and your tooth? And I have no idea how to get that crap. I hate eating popcorn. Hate that crap. I mean, it's good, but I don't like that little thing that gets up inside between your gums and your tooth. That's so annoying. It is the circle of hell. Man. Freaking corn husks in your teeth after trying to eat some damn popcorn, man. Nobody likes that crap. So, just have to live dangerously. Now, dude, I like the smell of popcorn. I like the smell. Popcorn smells great. I like buttered popcorn. I like popcorn with like the white cheese, like the smart pop shit that you can buy at the grocery store. You can get like the smart food, and it's like white cheddar popcorn. It tastes great. But that leaves those damn little corn kernel shells in your mouth, inside your gums and your tooth. And you gotta get like a pair of these so you can get your tooth out. So you. Oh, anyway. Yep, so if I can't do that next week, I want to have, all of my subscribers. Yeah, right? I want to have all of my subscribers, to have an opportunity to jump in there and win themselves an AR-636 receiver. I think they're great. I want to share the love with you guys who've been fantastic, getting, kind of getting the momentum going. It's been awesome. Just don't call me popcorn. I might be nuts. I eat those all the time. Is that what it's called, furball? Is it called, what is that? What is that word? Cully? That almost looks like it should be the name for a woman's part. Yeah, I know, Randy. I know, but I just got there tonight. So at the start of the stream, I didn't have one. So the first stream I do where we actually have 100 subscribers, that's what we're going to go with. And then we're going to do the same thing that we did in Wes's channel a few weeks back, where I'm going to do a random number generator, you know, from say like 1 to 40. And if there's only like 12 people in the room, you know, we're going to have a secret code word. And the code word's probably going to be, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter what the secret code word is. But when the secret code word, you know, is typed, we're going to go off the order of my screen. And we're going to roll the wheel. And we're just going to pick the number that it lands on. It's not AB Skyblazer. We're not playing yet. Skyblazer, we're not playing right now. It won't be ESC. It's not Josh. It's not AB. We're not doing the code word. Eric, that's awesome. Congratulations, buddy. I don't know how, you know, I suckered 100 people into watching this silly stuff. That will be the code word right there, George Watts. FR Sky. Yep. Yep, because that's what I do for 100 subs. I'll tell you what, guys.
What are you gonna do?
I can't say it with my wife here, because she'll kill me. But if I ever got to like 10,000, there might be IX20s. For 10,000. That's a long way away.
What will you do? What will you do?
Nothing. I just hit 100 subscribers. So next week, using my secret code,
Yeah.
I'm going to get a receiver and program it. Because that's what the show was about. It was programming receivers. I know.
Okay.
Ryan, that is exactly what I'm going to give away at like 10,000. But that's where we'd have to get, you know, there is absolutely not an IX20 happening anytime soon, ever. But, you know, 10,000's pretty special. But that's years from now. And years from now, an IX20 is going to be dirt cheap on eBay. So I'm just letting you guys know, it might not fucking work, but someone will get an IX20 when I hit 10,000 subscribers. That thing's going to be like in miserable shape. The screen's going to be broke, but someone's getting one. No, man, we're good. George Watts, I wouldn't count on it. I don't see that day happening ever. Deuces Wild. Welcome to the show. You missed all the good stuff. You missed where we were talking about crazy transmitters and crazy receivers. You know, is there a way to like, you know, here's the problem, guys. Here's the problem. He's got like 82 aliases on YouTube. So even if he doesn't show up with one name, he shows up with a different one. And you're like all fooled into thinking, oh man, this guy's all right. And then you're like, ah, he got us. 5 of the aliases are girl names. Yep. Yep. So listen, for anybody, Farmerella, for anybody that, Fireman, he lies. He lies and he cheats and steals. So listen, have y'all ever seen one of these? Some of y'all might know that I watch NASCAR, and for a long time I was a big Tony Stewart fan. So I've got like these little things. I'm still a Tony Stewart fan. I've got these little models, right? With like the number 20 and the number 14. And these little models, they're not normal. They are little stick figures. And I figured out what these were finally. Do y'all know what these are? These little metal things with the little metal thing. Apparently, these are hot dog cookers that you stick on the wiener roasters. I never knew that. I just thought that they were ridiculous little stick figures, and they made me happy, so I had them at work forever, you know. And people would be like, "Hey, what is that?" And I'd be like, "It's my stick dick figure." That's what I called them. I called them stick dicks. And they're, you stick a hot dog over the end of their thing like that. You put a hot dog right there like that. And stick it on the grill and it cooks the hot dog. Sorry. I know that that's not RC related at all, but I thought y'all would get a good kick out of that. I don't know if I own any hot dogs right now, Josh. If I did, I would gladly go get a hot dog and stick it on the hot dog stand. Even if I had a Slim Jim, especially if it was like one of those mega Slim Jims. Deuce is wild. We do have other hobbies, like cooking hot dogs. Yeah, this is definitely not for kids. Kenny, that no. No kids. No kids here. It's not for kids. Yep, so for the guys that missed it, on the next live show, which will be next Monday at 8 o'clock, I'll tell you what. We'll start the show at 8 o'clock, but what time do you guys want to do the drawing? Because we're going to like lead up to it. You know, we'll have a little centennial celebration. A centennial celebration of no, we gotta do it at like we gotta give people time to get here. Because there's people in California that want a new receiver. So if we do it at like 6 o'clock California time, what's that here? 9? So we'll start the stream at 8 o'clock. All right, and we'll do a tour of the new house, but Josh is going to have to show me how to Bledsoe. So Bledsoe, in my chat, you can say whatever you want. Why don't you explain to everybody that doesn't know? Explain to them what Grinder is. butt, butt stuff. Butt stuff. 100 Jeff Toohey. I think Jeff Toohey just won. Bash. Oh. Ryan, are you talking about a truck video? Are you going to make a truck video? Yeah, Bledsoe, that was awesome. I don't know if you're really going to set Farmer up with 100 Grinder accounts. Awesome. Hey, you're not supposed to tell us the secrets. But I guess I did tell everybody that I'm, putting some real oleo suspension struts on a Viper, so it's all good. I mean, it's not like you've actually seen the video or any of the hours of footage that I took of the painstaking process of making YouTube videos for you guys. I mean, do you see the bags under my eyes? This shit's tiring, yo. Say what, Josh? Grinder? Like butt stuff? Which thing did I say out loud? Poor Rhonda. No, I didn't say Grinder account. I said we're gonna make Farmer Man 100 Grinder accounts, and that'll be awesome. So I've got some other things that I'm doing for video stuff because the question always comes up, like, let's get me to 200 tonight, son. The question always comes up like, what's the best EDF to get started with? And Ryan, I'm gonna do you a favor, where every time that question comes up, from now on, you'll just be able to link my video because my next video is probably going to be a series of videos on how to program the AR636. But after that, anyway, somewhere in the long train of videos that I'm going to be doing is a video about what is the best first EDF. Oh, Eric. How about them Falcons, dude? That shit was crazy. That was the longest 8 seconds of football I've ever watched in my life. That was badass. Because some people are going to say that this bad plane is the best first ADF to buy. And I would agree with them. And Ryan, they don't get it all. They're not actually going to get any free planes. Cadillac STS, hello. Isn't that absolutely, absolutely. And we're gonna cover all the bases. We're gonna have a nice presentation of which planes are best for which kind of people, and uh, and then we can just start linking people to the video. Like, look here, Fred Barron. Fred Barron is good people. Coming in here, hitting the subscribe button with multiple accounts. The Arrows RC Marlin, George Watts. And that is going to be on the list of potential candidates. So I won't give away all of my stuff, but that's one of them that I'm definitely going to do because I like the idea of having a resource out there like that for people to be able to reference, so when they're looking for, to make that transition, we've got something great to throw at them. Ryan, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Like I'll hack up all of the crappy video here and then send it to you and let you do an intro and then you upload it. That'd be badass. $50. That's what I'm talking about. Man, I already got a wrench. This motherfucker's gonna take my wrench away. $50. Man, I used to drive a submarine. I don't have a Cadillac. Just saying. But I'd like one. That'll be my millionth subscriber. 1,000,000 subscribers. I'll get me a Cadillac. Yep. So we're gonna have a shooting match of the Arrows RC Marlin, the E-Flight 64mm F-15 Eagle, the Viper, the Avanti S, and that's pretty much it. That's what I feel like is the best starter EDFs. Ooh, and the Free Wing L-39. That will be the shootout. Which one is the best? But that's way in the future. And maybe the Free Wing, is it the Rebel? The Rebel is a little 4S, 70mm, right? Thanks, Fred Barron. Can I get a Dynamedia from Big Go? We'll set it all up. Man, that'll be a long ass video. I'm gonna have to do like a week of videos. Dude, I'm way better looking than Jeff Goldblum. That bitch is ugly. Oh. That's awesome. Thanks, Fred Barron. So, thank you, Jackson. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Next time up, we're gonna do, and I hate to do the giveaways, right? Because we're not gonna do giveaways like all the time, but this is a pretty big milestone, I think. Um, the first 100 subscribers is probably one of the, I don't know. It can't be that hard to get. I did it, but it seems like a milestone that we should celebrate together because we're not going to be celebrating another milestone for a long time. Makarashka. See you, Jackson. Hey, if you set up a Grinder account, hit me up, dude. I'm just kidding. But that's why this first one's a cheap giveaway. An AR-636 is cheap. I I know a guy. I know a guy that can get them cheap. No, no, I don't have a pic of Jeff Goldblum on my IX-12. You know what? I don't have any pictures on my IX-12 except the pictures of my airplanes. And if I were to show you like what the inside of my IX-12 looks like, it make video telling Amy you bought some expensive plane. Dude, I think that might be the path to 1,000 in like a week. Like that shit will go viral across the RC universe. Bledsoe, you have just given me the ultimate of suggestions. So what I was saying is I don't know how I was able to do it, but I was able to pick up my IX-12 for I want to say I picked it up at like 499 or 550. It was only like $50 more than a DX9 um, at regular price. Now the DX9 at the time was also on sale, but I bought this thing because at the time I was gonna get a DX9. I love the DX9, like the DX9 Black Edition. That's a great radio, and that was my plan. But I figured I'd give this thing a shot, and I'm glad that I did because I do like having 12 channels, and I like the Android interface. I didn't have to, Josh. They didn't make me turn in a radio. Even though it was like the Step Up to Spektrum sale, like upgrade your radio to a Spektrum now, and we'll give you all this money off. They don't actually make you, um, they don't make you turn in another radio to get it. They just sell you this one cheap. Yeah, so I got the IX-12 I think for $499 or $550 during like the Step Up to Spektrum sale. Um, And this thing has been outstanding. I've had it about the same time that the boozers have had theirs. Um, and I really enjoy it, but I don't listen to music. I don't order Jimmy John's. I know that these are all things that I could do with it. I don't watch YouTube. I don't watch YouPorn. I don't watch Pornhub. I really feel like I'm, not taking advantage of all the things that the radio can do. Because I use it to be a transmitter. And that's it. It's just, to me, this is a really cool transmitter. I don't ask it to do more than it was sold to do. And I think that all the people that have a bunch of problems with their IX12 are trying to make it be something that it's not. They're trying to turn it into a tablet. And they're trying to watch movies and YouTube videos and whatever else on it. And they're killing the stupid thing. But if the only thing that you do with it is use it as a transmitter, it's awesome. And this can't make me a sandwich, but it can sure as hell order one. You know what else it can do that's pretty cool? George Watts, I don't turn off the speech. Because there are just some things that need to be said by a transmitter. Hold on. And I'm going to give y'all an example of why I have to have an IX12 now. Hold on, I'm setting something up. Y'all look at this. All right, so I set up a special switch. I don't know what it's going to say, but it's going to say something. Because, oh, see, right. Oh, you're going to, yes. But I've set up a special switch that can do things.
Get away from me.
That's for people that are standing too close to you while you're trying to fly. And if they keep getting too close,
eat a dick, assholes. Get away from me. Eat a dick, assholes.
Like that switch doesn't do anything to the airplanes.
Fuck you, farmerman. Eat a dick, assholes.
Did you hear that?
Get away from me. Eat a dick, assholes. Fuck you, farmerman.
That's the kind of fun antics you can have with an IX12. Those options are just not available in the DX9. And that to me was worth $50. Like, this
Fuck you, farmerman.
That is $50 right there.
Eat a dick, assholes. Eat a dick, assholes.
Sorry. I'm having way too much fun with the transmitter. That's channel 27.
Fuck you, farmerman.
Sorry. Sorry. Yeah. Rob, that might come after I get to my new house. Let me put a space in there. Because that's a pretty good idea.
Eat a dick, assholes. Fuck you, farmerman.
My radio is possessed.
Get away from me. Eat a dick, assholes.
Hold on.
Fuck you, farmerman. Eat a dick, assholes.
Sorry. Yes, playing with punctuation and playing with punctuation and spacing makes a big difference. Really, John Jones, it is the little things. And dude, that's $100 of it. Yeah. You can do that with this two hanger, or freaking. I know that guy. That's Kenny. You can do that with this Kenny, but why? Why? We can. Jeff, I appreciate it. Someday I'll get to. I don't know how YouTube, responds to people putting links to things other than super chats and descriptions. So, for now I'll hold off on doing anything like that. But, if things are looking on the up and up, and I don't. That's not true, man. I love you guys, Kenny. So, Josh, that's not a sound file. So the iX12 uses the Google Voice Assistant. It's a voice synthesizer. You just type in whatever you want it to say, and it says it. Obviously, I mean, I can't. There is no sound file I made up. Brian, what receivers are they? There's a real question here, guys. Brian's trying to be serious, people. I think mine is on Australian Lady number 4. Jeff Toohey, thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. It's the Spektrum. They are real little, and you don't know the numbers on them. Are they 4-channel or 6-channel? And how old are we talking? Like, are they DSMX, DSM2? Is it like the AR620? Sorry, I know you're at work and you don't know the number, and me telling you, that uh, I could sit here and rattle off a bunch of different model numbers. Um, you know, when you say would you trust it in your more expensive model, it really depends on on kind of on how what kind of model it is. Are we talking gas planes? Are we talking huge? You know, what the hell do they call those things when they're giant? Are we talking big giant scale planes? Um, because like giant scale planes, big gassers, um, big turbines, I would want um I'd probably want to go with something like the power safe receivers for those, which I mean they're a little more expensive, but you can attach 2 lipo batteries just to be um like failover power supplies for the power safe receivers. That way, even if a battery dies or falls off or does something crazy, you've still got control of all your control surfaces. So the power safe receivers are really the way to go if you're talking like a multi-$1,000 airplane, and the price of a receiver at $200 pales in comparison to the price of the airplane. When nothing but the best will do, that's what I would get. Is something like a power safe receiver that has redundant power sources. Now, if we're talking bigger airplanes, like they're just bigger, um, you know, like UMX compared to 1500 millimeter. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I'd use Spektrum receivers. They're small sport receivers in a 1500 to 2000 sized airplane all day long, and they work great. But like I was saying, if we're talking really expensive airplanes, uh, that's what those power safe receivers are made for. So that's what I would stick with. Yeah, and even the Carbon Z's, they're coming with the Carbon Z's come stock with an AR636. So absolutely all day long. If you've got like an AR620, um, which would be the 6-channel sport receiver, the no antenna, and it's got the push button binding, then the AR620 is going to be um, is going to be fine for that plane. Now you're not going to have um, you're not going to have AS3X on an AR620, so just keep that in mind. Hey, were you any of you guys in the Army or just Josh? The Shadow Ops is out now, isn't he? He's gone. Is it just Josh that was in the Army? Was Fred Barron in the Army? Yeah, but Dave's not here, man. Just me. I'm the Dave that's here. All right. All right, that's perfect. That's perfect. So I'm outnumbered by a lot. That's perfect. All right. So I have a joke to tell. And y'all will like this. So, a soldier and a sailor walk into the bathroom and they're peeing in the urinal. They both get done, zip up their pants. Soldier walks over to the sink, starts washing his hands, and the sailor goes walking out the door. And the soldier looks at the sailor and he's like, "Hey man, aren't you going to wash your hands? In the Army, they teach us to wash our hands after we use the head." And the sailor starts laughing. He looks back at the Army man and he says, "No, man, in the Navy, they taught us not to piss on ourselves." Sorry. I get a kick out of that joke. Yeah, exactly. What's up, Randy? That's not very nice, though. I know there's some really smart cats in the Army. Just like the Marines, man. I've hung out with a bunch of Marines that were super, super smart guys. So, look, I've been around them people, and I feel bad for saying that. I've been to the Middle East, and I've been around the different cultures of the Middle East. And what I will tell you is that for those people to say anything derogatory about the shit about the hygiene of Americans is laughable. Sorry. Yeah, see, Shadow knows what it's all about, and there's plenty of really smart people in the Army, really smart people in the Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, and there's a lot of dummies. The hardest to fly plane that I have flown. You know, John, that's kind of an interesting question because I haven't flown, and this isn't to say that I haven't been challenged. Um, but I never took a plane out of what I would consider a good progressive order. So And what I mean by that is, like, my first plane that I flew was an apprentice. And then the second plane that I flew, I went from the apprentice to a low wing, to like a T-28. And then, from a T-28 to a low wing tail dragger, I got the commander MPD. And then from a commander MPD, I, you know, the next plane I got after the commander MPD was I don't have any warbirds. I have a P-47. That's yeah, I got a P-47. Um and then I got the Viper, and then I got the F-15 and the F-16. I got the Avanti, and then I got the F-18. And I think that because of the progressive nature of how I progressed through the hobby, that that none of those airplanes were particularly difficult to fly or hard to fly. Um, the hardest to fly plane that I've ever flown was a piece of crap plane that I built out of foam board. I built a like one of the flight test planes, and I can't remember which one it was. I think it was like the flight test racer or something like that. It looked like, one of the Reno racer airplanes off of the Disney Planes movie. So I built one of those planes, and that thing flew like absolute crap. It was a very short wingspan, very heavy wing loading for the type of airplane that it was. It was a hand launch, but with the motor and the battery that I had in it, the thing was so nose heavy, um, and the elevator was really thin, so that thing was a handful. And I flew it like twice, and I just cracked the thing in half. I mean, there was no way to really balance it out without putting like a pound of weight on the tail. It was just ridiculous. Flying, I guess I could have used smaller batteries, but I was using 2200 cell packs. I could have gotten smaller batteries. I probably could have used like a 1600 or a 1300 milliamp hour battery, but I didn't have any, so I made it my mission to make that thing fly with uh, with the 2200 packs, and I think I did put a lot of weight in the back of the plane. I eventually got it to go, but it flew terrible, and I haven't had any planes that I bought that were like molded. All the planes that I have um, fly really well. That were store bought planes, you know. So yeah, the most difficult planes that I've flown have been flight test planes. The really small, handmade. I may have screwed up the airfoil. I may have screwed up the dihedral in the wings. Who knows why it flew like crap, but I'm pretty sure it was my fault. So yeah. Now the point of all that diatribe was, if you progress into if you progress through the hobby and you take the right steps, John Jones, absolutely. That's exactly what I was just about to get to. So I'm glad that you went ahead and asked that question, so I didn't have to, explain it. Yes. Uh, as long as you're flying a realistic next step based on your current ability, no prefab plane is going to fly bad. The planes don't fly bad, the pilots do. I mean, look, take for example, have somebody link up Frank Sylvester. Someone do it. I know y'all got the link like saved. Y'all got it like ready for instant access. And the reason I bring that up is John Jones, Frank Sylvester is the classic example of somebody who took a perfectly good airplane and was like, this plane flies like crap. No, it doesn't. That freaking Freewing 810 flies awesome. It is not underpowered. There's nothing wrong with the plane. That is a great plane. You know, with the right battery and the right pilot, there is nothing wrong with that airplane. It was just an idiot behind the sticks. Wait. What I really meant was the most entertaining guy in all of YouTube RC behind the sticks, who made me laugh hysterically watching him spew F bombs everywhere after crashing a Freewing A10. You know, Kenny, that's probably what happened. I betcha I programmed an AR636 for that A10 and sent it to Frank Sylvester. I have to go back and look at my I have to go back and look at my records. You know what's funny is I have a friend of mine named Frank, and in my list of things, it has Frank's F-22 because I did set up a Freewing F-22 on an AR-636 with safe and the panic button and all that fun stuff. Yeah, and I mean, I don't know that I would. Yeah, I don't know that I'd be afraid of them, John. Here's the thing: uh, you're reputable manufacturers, so FMS, um, E-Flight, to Arrows RC is making great planes, which I think are FMS planes. E-Flight planes, I think are FMS planes. Um, FMS planes in general. Uh, Anything that you get from Motion RC, your Flightline planes, your um, and I'm sitting here looking at like three of them. Free wing planes, the Skynetic planes. Yeah, Jeff. Rob Henderson, thank you. Thank you for hanging out. Have a good night, man. All of those planes are going to be really good airframes that you can damn near guarantee are going to fly awesome. It doesn't mean that every plane is not going to be without issues. You know, for example, when the Freewing F-18 came out, the FA-18C, man, people were cracking that thing up left and right because the elevators were bad in them. You know, and like I've only flown the Beast once, and I'm trying to like get everything like all sorted up and packed up, but like that's behind. It doesn't have the wings on it right now, but oh look, there's a cat back there. Do you see the cat? I'm gonna hold the camera really still. You guys see the cat? Have y'all ever heard me say like on Ryan or Wes's show, like my cat will stick his face right into the tailpipe of like an Avanti, F-18, any EDF. He sticks his head right in. I swear if I had that's where he is, by the way, if you can't see him right now. He's back there messing around with the bed with the back part of the Avanti. And I don't know what he's doing. I feel like I want to take the camera over there and see if we can. What is he doing? There must be a bug or something over there. He's completely entrenched in something. Yep, he don't want to have nothing to do with me. Yeah, and that's another thing to keep in mind, John. Is I think that all of us, with very few exceptions, a lot of the guys that fly RC planes, we get nervous no matter what plane we put in the air. Um, the only time in the recent past that I haven't been nervous putting an airplane in the air was with this Bigfoot. That's because Dave's RC gave me that Bigfoot, and it was being recorded, and I think that he would have appreciated me crashing the shit out of that thing, and that would have made me happy. But like Josh is saying, I think that if you're in a good club, if you're in a good peer group, they are going to steer you in the right direction. I never would have bought that F-18 if I didn't have people at the club every time I was out there flying that that I would bounce airplane ideas off of. I'd be like, hey, I've got this Viper, I've got the F-15, I've got the F-16, I've got the Avanti. I'm flying them all pretty well. Do you guys think I'm ready for the F-18? I'm still a little scared. And they're like, hell yeah, man, get it. You'll be able to fly that F-18. And I bought the F-18. I didn't necessarily think that I was ready for it, but yeah, man. Eric, the answer is I have done an AR 9350. And just because you plugged it in and turned it on doesn't mean that. So they come with everything turned off. You actually have to program it all in there. So yeah, George, I don't know. So I agree that you will get to a point that you rarely crash. Like you will find that you don't crash planes because of something stupid that you do. That will not happen very often. Um, what will, at least to me, I still get kind of shaky when I'm flying a new high performance plane. Um, I still get nervous flying new airplanes. Even I'm confident in my skills, but I just psych myself out. It's all psychological, I think. And and I'll tell you, John, if you are questioning your worthiness of a particular plane, and this is gonna sound stupid, but just trust old Dave. Go get real flight, man. Go get real flight and fly the hell out of a similar airframe in real flight. Is it going to be like flying the real plane? No, it will not be like flying the real plane. But if you use real flight as a training aid instead of like a video game, and you try to keep it in the air, and you use the environmental variables within real flight, so we turn up the wind, we turn up the um, we turn up the wind, we turn up the turbulence, and we set up a realistic wind direction. The real flight becomes a much more effective trainer, and it will get you the confidence that you're looking for. Um, and confidence in your abilities and nervousness are two very different things. So I can sit here and be confident as hell that I know that I can fly this. I know that I can fly airframe X. Whatever you put in front of me, I know that I can fly it. I'm confident in my ability, but it doesn't mean that I'm not scared and that or nervous, or that my heart is my heart rate's elevated, that I am gonna be in some way uh, a little on edge for the first couple of flights. And that's just how it is. I mean, I don't think it matters how experienced a pilot you are. To some degree, if you are the type of person that gets the jitters, you're going to get the jitters no matter how many airplanes or any of that. No matter what, kind of planes you're flying, you're always going to get a little jittery. Yeah, that's true, Josh. That's a good point. Um, Balsa, when a balsa plane breaks and turns into splinters, can they be repaired? Of course, but it usually involves cutting out parts from a pattern and rebuilding, that part, from the broken points. Like anything that's broken and splintered, you basically are cutting out of the airframe and replacing it, right? For foam, uh, I mean, without trying to sound like a complete idiot, uh, I mean, I've literally had foam airplane, like my apprentice, the whole damn rear of the airframe cracked and was hanging off the back of the plane by the rudder and elevator. Um, the control rods that go through the back of the fuselage. And I glued that bitch back together with toothpicks. I stuck some toothpicks down in there, put some hot glue, all around it, put the toothpicks back in, set it up with hot glue, smeared some hot glue around the outside, wrapped some packing tape around it. Bitch as good as new. And it's been flying like that ever since. There are. there. The foam airframes are a lot more forgiving, just depending on how you crash them. Um, Sometimes when you crash a foam airplane, especially with EDFs, if you crash it hard enough into the ground, that bitch will break into a million pieces. Yep, Jeff, I agree. And John, I think that that's something that you need to be aware of now. Is EDFs are worse than crack. You're gonna get an EDF, and then you're gonna want another one, and then you're gonna want another one, and then you're gonna want another one. And the next thing you know, you're contemplating how much you could sell your kid for and how many more EDFs you could buy after selling your kid on the Chinese black market. It's an addiction, man. It's an addiction. The rush of an EDF is awesome, and I prefer now Um, I prefer EDFs to prop planes because to me they're easier to fly. Yeah, fireman. Right. John Jones, I'll tell you, if you know that that's what you want to do, I could tell you the path to go, to get yourself to your first EDF. Um, like you start out with like an apprentice and then move on to something like a timber. And even though they look like they would fly very similar, and they do fly very similar, but they land and take off very different. And then move on to something like a warbird, like a low wing, sport plane. And then you're ready, man. And then get yourself like a 64 millimeter Arrows RC Marlin. Boom. And plan your EDF, you know, progression based on the batteries that you're going to be using for all the other planes. So, you could probably get to a point now where you could be in an EDF in your third or fourth plane. But yeah, I mean, I'd probably go through like 2 or 3 really good prop planes first and fly them until you are not nervous at all flying those planes. There's some guys, and I take that back. I say that like that nobody, that everybody gets a little nervous. I'll tell you who I don't think gets nervous at all ever when they fly airplanes, and that's Rich Baker, the RC Informer. I don't think that guy has ever been nervous flying a plane in all the videos that I've seen him in. And he flies them bitches inverted, like this much off the ground, that much. They're that high off the ground. Like Rich Baker is an incredible RC pilot. And I can't say that I aspire to fly like that. Because it just seems like such an unrealistic goal, man. The guy just, he's turning, burning. If you haven't checked out his channel, man, go check out some Rich Baker, RC Informer. I think that's the name of the YouTube channel is the RC Informer. Go check out his stuff, man. That guy is a beast, and so is Wesley. Yeah, RC Geek. I mean, that guy wins competitions. And man, who's the kid? The kid. Michael Roshka, yes. Yeah, the UMX Timber is great. But yeah, John, don't watch the RC Informer like he's normal. That's like watching, you know, watching Eddie Van Halen play guitar and thinking that you can be a good guitar player. Oh, what's up, Patrick? You're up pretty late too, my friend. Is this your weird work hours? Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, oh, you have to be at work at 7:30 in the morning, and you're hanging out on YouTube at 11:30 at night. You done lost your mind. What's up? What's up, Ryan? What'd we do? Uh. RC Informer. Yeah, Josh. We don't know anything about late nights. Isn't it the Pandora? Is that a free wing plane? The free wing Pandora? Couldn't that be a high wing or low wing airframe? Was it FMS? I don't remember. All I see is a bunch of yeses. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a free wing model, the Pandora, and you could set it up. I thought you could even set it up as it was like a 4-in-1 deal. You could set it up as a like a low wing or high wing, and you could set it up with either a tricycle or a tail dragger configuration. Yeah, they might not make it anymore, but it seemed like a good airplane if you wanted to, to try out a lot of like. I mean, you basically had 4 different airplanes, and I'm not sure that they all flew the same. John Jones, if you get a UMX Timber, your backyard is a big area. Yeah, and didn't they have the Pandora in like 2 or 3 different colors too? And that'll be a shame if they don't make it anymore, because that was a pretty good model. Look at that.
Fuck you, farmer man.
Sorry. I had to see what Bitch and Betty thought about Farmer Man. I don't even think Ryan gets to fly all of his planes. Kenny, I'm not. So, first, Patrick, who's Farmer Man? He's a person that comes into these, little hangouts for RC people, and he acts. Jeff pretty much hit it on the head. He can become very douchey. He can become very douchebaggery, and it's sad. And he pushes himself on people, and douche LaRouche. Yes, George Watts, and and what I'm really The little timber would be best for my first. Carbon Cub SS. How big is that one? Is that the smaller Carbon Cub? Like the yellow one? I know like all Carbon Cubs are yellow, right? Um your first plane ever? Are you talking your first plane ever? If we're talking about your first plane ever, I don't think I'd get a Carbon Cub or a Timber. I would get an Apprentice. Because the tricycle landing gear is going to be easier to land. And it's always easier to take off than it is to land, and you don't want your first experience to be your worst experience. So I would recommend going with something for with a tricycle landing gear. Ryan's right on with the Mini Apprentice. It's a little lower price point than the entry fee of the Apprentice STS, and the flight characteristics are almost indistinguishable from each other. Yep, the Ranger would be a great choice for a first trainer, but even that is kind of a scale bird. Um, it kind of, the Ranger looks a bit more like a Cessna 150, but the Cessna 150 is a great trainer for real aircraft. So some versions of the Apprentice are ready to fly. Some are not. So yeah, I mean, if you've got a Spektrum radio, then the Mini Apprentice is probably the way to go. If you don't have a radio at all, the Apprentice package is pretty attractive, but the radio it comes with is a DXE, and the DXE is fine if you want to do anything with the radio after it. It's a good backup radio. Too small for wind. Yep, and I know they're boring. Getting a trainer like an Apprentice or a Park Zone Sensei, if they're still making them. Is that who made that Park Zone? Like the Sensei and the Sensei S or whatever it was. Those are good trainer planes. They were purpose built to be able to fly easy, to do some self leveling. Yeah, the UMX Champ. That's that little blue and white one, isn't it? I mean, that thing. Josh, you fly it in your garage. No, I think that the what's the one I'm thinking of? I think that one is the Cub S, maybe the blue and white one, the UMX. There's a little blue and white one, real small. Obviously, they're all small. But I mean, if you're gonna get a UMX plane, they're pretty much all the same price. And dollar for dollar, feature for feature, the UMX Timber beats them all, man. With some little floats, get you some little floats, you can fly that bitch out of a swimming pool. and the lights on it are so scale. You know, it not only has the nav lights, but it's also like right behind the nav lights on the wing tips. It's got the strobes. That is such an awesome looking little airplane. Functional flaps. Yeah. Yeah, the UMX Timber, that thing is a great little plane. And if you missed the sale to get it for 99 bucks, then, you know, I'm sorry. That thing was a steal at 99 bucks. Oh, you're good, John Jones. Get a UMX Timber if you have a Spektrum radio. And 20 mile an end. I don't think you were flying it. I think you were watching it as it was staying stationary. Like it had airspeed, but it had zero ground speed, maybe negative ground speed. All right, Josh, have a good night, man. Yep. I think the smart thing is that we all need to probably go in that direction, but you know, we just get stupid. Hey, Patrick, you know, I hadn't seen you at the field, but we're gonna be moving out to Kennesaw Friday. We just bought a house out there that we're closing this Friday, and we're gonna be like 5 minutes from the field. So, you know, I do these silly shows every Monday. Um, you know, once I'm out in Kennesaw and I get the new place set up, you should come over and we'll talk about planes to people. It'll be fun. Take an Uber though. We might there might be alcohol involved. Anyway. Hey, thanks, Scout. Thanks, Jeff. Oh no, no, there will be no more. Oh wait. Hold on. You need me to.
Eat a dick, assholes. Get away from me. Eat a dick, assholes. Fuck you, farmer man.
Yeah, Kennesaw, Georgia. Kenny. Kenny. Kennesaw, Georgia. John, I think I think the FMS Ranger, the smaller one. Now they make an 1800 millimeter Ranger. If you got the coin to spend on an 1800 millimeter Ranger, I think that one would also fly great and do great as a first plane, with an instructor because it's not cheap. You know, so I would definitely get an instructor. In fact, in any situation, if you are unsure of your flying abilities, you know, work through using the simulator and grab, uh, you know, see if you can find an instructor. Even if you can't, uh, hold on. I want to I want to put a link in here for you because it may be helpful. Here. John Jones, if you don't know of any instructors, check out this website that I'm going to put a link to here. This is for the Horizon Hobby flight school program, and I'm just going to show it. I'm going to show it right here on the thing. And you know, it says that you're supposed to buy a Horizon Hobby, flight school. And if that's the case, get a mini apprentice. The mini apprentice and the FMS Ranger. I think the little FMS Ranger has flaps, but the mini apprentice, if you get a mini apprentice, you can hook up with a flight school instructor in your area, and they'll teach you how to fly, and they'll get you good to go. All right, Patrick. Have a good night, man. I'm right behind you. My work doesn't start at 7:30, but that is about the time I have to leave. Yep, so here's all of the planes that qualify for the Horizon Hobby, flight school training program where you'll get linked up with a coach. So if you have any of these planes, the Delta Ray 1, the Apprentice S, the Apprentice STS, the Mini Apprentice, Carbon Cub S, Hobby Zone Aero Scout, or the Hobby Zone Sport Club S, any of these planes, you can get linked up with the Horizon Flight School coach. Yeah, yeah, and it's free. Or damn well should be free. I mean, we're all volunteering to do it. I'm a coach here in this area. Um, oops. Yep. In the Atlanta area, I'm a Horizon Flight School coach, hat wearing, card carrying member. Um, so yeah, just see. I mean, even if they don't have any classes on their schedule, go ahead and hit them up. I mean, you should be able to hit them up through email. The email, I don't think they give you a direct link to their email address, but if you click on it, and you send them a message using the flight coach portal, it'll make it back to the coach that you're trying to get in touch with, and you guys can set up private times to come fly, and they'll take care of you. We all signed up for it for the love of the hobby. Furball, I wish that was the case. Um, Not all AMA fields are the same. Yeah, no problem, John. No, no, no. Mark Z, you do not have to sign up for the 3-month membership. What they do is the 3-month membership is a trial membership card that you can get, and they have it on sale at horizonhobby.com, and they also have it on at your local hobby shop. You can just buy a card and get like a 3-month trial to the AMA. You do have to be an AMA member, but if you say you're already a member, You don't have to buy the 3-month card. You know what I'm saying? The 3-month card is a trial membership. So if you get it and you try flying and you don't like it, that's no problem. Oh, and the other thing that's cool is say, yeah, pilot, yeah, Ryan's right. It does work. He's got some great lessons on his channel. From when the channel used to be called like you know the RC Pilot Training Command or something like that. Yeah, there were. I have been to some clubs where they said they had instructors, but when you get out there, you find out that the instructors, are not the coolest people in the world, that they're only interested in flying their own crap. So, not all clubs are the same, man. That's all I'll tell you. And it's a shame. I wish they were all equally as impressive. But I have definitely been to some AMA fields uh, that were not as cool as they should have been. Yep. So that would be my suggestion, though. Most of the guys that have signed up for the flight coach program um, are instructors at their fields. They're all AMA members. We all fly at AMA clubs. So yeah, try the website out. I would be happy to hear the results back because that program did just start here recently. And the more folks we get on board. Oh, and here's the other fun part about the the flight school program with Horizon Hobby. Once you're done with your training, you get a pretty fat discount on on a new plane. On your second plane, you get a pretty decent discount. I want to say it's 15% off of your next plane if you buy a plane from Horizon Hobby. Jeff Toohey. I'm not a fan of the Havoc because it's green, not because it's not a great airplane. I would absolutely jump on that. Is it a 50C? Is that the 6S 5050C or the 30C? If it's the 30C, I'd probably still get it. But if it's the 50C, you're not going to get a better deal than that, man.
Eat a dick, assholes. Fuck you, farmer man. Get away from me. Fuck you, farmer man. Get away from me.
That's funny. Yeah, I would probably still get it with the 30C, but I'd rather, I mean, it'd be great if it had the 50C. That sucks if they're only going to give you the 30C. You know what? We're looking. We're looking right now. What do they give you? So I'm looking up what kind of battery you get. Uh-oh, did it not load? Well, the internet is just cracking today. With a free 6S LiPo. Make sure you read this bulletin when you get the Havoc. This bulletin is very important. Why is that not loading? Screw it, we're gonna go. Okay. Oh, to receive a free Spektrum 6S 5000 50C Smart LiPo, you must purchase the eFlight Havoc. So it is the 50C. That's an awesome deal if you're going to get a 50C battery. Yeah, the 6S 5000 50C Smart battery, that thing is kick ass. Get it. Yeah, that's $125 just for the battery. Get it. If you can do the whole thing right now, where you get the battery and the plane for $360, and is that the bind and fly for $360? Hold on. I gotta check this thing out. Yeah, bind and fly. Green on it. Damn. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, if you can do that for $360 and get a 50 cell or a 50C, a 6S 5000 50C battery free, you got to do it. I do, fireman. I'm like, goddamn, a Havoc is how much? And you get a fee? A free damn battery? Yeah, that's badass. And maybe Jeff, like, yeah, Jeff, get that. That is a smoking ass deal. That is awesome. All right, Eric. Have a good one, man. Well, it's double the points if you buy it from Horizon. Oh, if you go through Pilot Ryan Media and get the Hobby Zone, you'll be good. Mm-hmm. I got you, Ryan. I'll hook him up with a link. Randy, no burritos. You no burritos. That's Ryan. This is how I pay for my rent because I'm a broke ass bitch buying a damn house. I'm awesome. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and start heading out, guys. It's been awesome. Um, I hit the monumental, first landmark of 100 subscribers today. That's awesome. It feels good that people are actually watching my videos. It definitely encourages me to keep making them. You guys coming into the chat and having fun, and for all you guys that stuck it out through the first hour of uh, of school, I appreciate it. Yeah, I know, fireman. I'm not the marathon man. I have to get up and work in the morning. And like Randy said, it's Taco Tuesday, so I have to get my sleep. And I still have a video I need to edit. Thanks, Randy. I still gotta get that video edited so I can. Thanks, Ryan. I'm trying to drop a lot of value bombs. Maybe not necessarily F-bombs. But I'm trying to get all the value bombs out there. Yep, we'll get you the next video here in the next day or two. Am I in it? Like the movie It? No. No, I wouldn't be here doing YouTube with you guys if I was a freaking Hollywood blockbuster movie star, man. Oh, George, yes. Yes, I am in IT. I am a yes. Farmer Man is ineligible for any giveaway that I do because he is a Canadian national, and I only sell and give things away to Americans and any Canadians not named Farmer Man. That's right. That's right, George Watts. I do make the rules. And the rules are they're completely opposite of the normal rules where it'll be like, you're cool, you're cool, you're cool, you're cool, fuck you, you're cool. And you know what I might do is I may go ahead and do it where his number like gets picked over and over and over again. And I just keep rolling and rolling until I get to something else. He's just Kenny. I know that you have a big heart, Kenny, and you love everybody, but that guy just irks the crap out of me, and I don't know what it is. You know, he's just done a lot of things that were extremely disrespectful. So I I don't know. I don't have any particular reason to be, personally offended by anything he did. It's just the actions that he's taken. Kind of like my stance with FR Sky, Free Sky. You know, they didn't do anything to me. They just made some pretty douchey moves over the last, year that put a bad taste in my mouth. And that's kind of where I'm at with that whole Farmer Man thing. Yeah. No, Kenny, I do know that, and what I'll say is I know lots of people, not lots, but I have a handful of folks that I have known over my years that have had that same medical condition and been far more courteous and kind and appreciative of others. So I just don't, I don't know. It'd be hard to sway my opinion. Yeah, yeah, I agree, Ryan. Apologies can't go a long way. Voldemort. Anyway, um, yeah. I mean, just be nice to people. That's it. We're all we're all here to help each other and to learn from each other and to enjoy each other's company. And that's it. that's that's an awesome analogy. So anyway, guys, you know, I think that to some degree, it's just become a a source of constant entertainment. I don't know why. You know, it's just something to laugh about now. Um, if you guys missed it on Friday, Dave's RC, he wasn't able to make it to his show, so we had a live Zoom going for a long time. I think I'm still recovering from that, but it was awesome. I hope that that's something that we do on a maybe not that long, but on a more regular basis because I think it was awesome. So everybody check that out. Keep Josh Weaving RC, or I think that's how you spell his. Randy, speak for yourself. There's no such thing as too long. So yeah, that was awesome. And if you guys get a chance to jump into one of those one time, I highly recommend it because it was great. So anyway, I'm gonna be heading out. I'm not gonna count you guys out because that's not my thing. So thank you guys, everyone, for showing up. Thanks for getting me to 100 subscribers. Here's to 100 more. You guys all have a great night. And yeah, Randy, it was rough, man. Good night, guys.